The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
And as you'll notice in Steve's behind, the entire studio has changed from Leafs to the other Leaf that is the red Leaf that we all cheer for. And that's not the Montreal Canadiens logo, it's just the Team Canada logo.
Canada Leafs, yeah. Because I'm doing something that I wasn't doing yesterday.
What were you? Can you talk about what you're doing?
Yeah. So
What are you doing?
I'm going to be doing, you know how I was doing Watch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle?
Yeah.
We, the first time we did it, someone in the graphics department made a mistake. It was never supposed to be Watch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle.
Oh, what was it supposed to be?
It was supposed to be Watch a Habs game with Steve Dangle.
Oh.
And you might have thought it was very strange because they were all Habs games,
Interesting.
right? And
Yeah,
now
yeah.
we're picking it back up, but this time with the proper graphic. So it's going to be Watch a Habs game with Steve Dangle on the Sportsnet YouTube channel for the remainder of the series and maybe other stuff, but we're not sure.
Okay. All right. That's good. I mean, I'm glad they got it right finally.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good for you. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Man, so is that
Good for you.
Is that going to be a thing that do you think you go Stanley Cup Finals with that if you were to make a prediction?
Well, I think if the Habs make it, I'm certainly doing it. It's just a matter of, like, let's say it's Vegas versus Islanders or Lightning. I don't know.
You know, you
I just worked
wonder why they didn't think of this in the first place. Let a whole round slip through.
Adam.
But anyway.
Adam.
But anyway, speaking of Montreal, steamrolled by Vegas in game one, just because we all thought they would have been. No. Oh, Steve, are you saying come see, come saw because you have to cheer for the Habs now?
No, I'm just saying they started pretty well and had a poor result, and then Vegas sort of took over.
Mm.
You know, so I wouldn't say they were steamrolled. Just the score would.
Mm.
You know, when you say it out loud, it's not as good.
See, here's the thing. When we look at the entire game, what would you say about the entire game?
Vegas was better.
Right. Now, I would say that Montreal gave their best effort. I would say that they worked really hard. I don't think the one thing with the Habs is you can never say they don't put effort in. There's always effort. It's always 10,000%.
Romanov, big hit on Petro.
Yeah. But again, like that's the highlight of the game for the Canadiens, right? It's not
the biggest non-Price highlight.
Right. And Carey Price looks really good as always. But I just think in this particular case, there is a real imbalance in terms of talent level on a team.
They're also so busted. They're really, man, fully healthy. I think they'd have trouble with Vegas, but no Petrie. I still think Sherratt's playing hurt. Weber is definitely playing hurt.
Isn't Weber just constantly playing hurt? Like there hasn't been a time that I can remember where he's been with Montreal where he hasn't been playing hurt.
At this point in his career, especially, like you put that many hockey miles on your body, you're perpetually injured at this point.
Yeah.
I'm mostly worried about like your legs. You know, if you got a back injury, I mean, you're done. Knees tough, but like he's dealing with a hand injury, right? So it's typical hockey style. Oh, well, you know, play through it. It's all for the cup.
Right. But that's the injury we know about, Steve.
Yes, that's very true. And I mean, Vegas is playing through theirs too. Martinez was already not at 100%, has an amazing highlight, blocks just a gruesome shot. I mean, I think we all had our expectations for the series that Vegas would embarrass Montreal. And I don't think that's what happened in game one. And let's also not forget, you know, who was embarrassed of game one in round two, or in game one and round two? Vegas.
That's true.
Yes.
They were slaughtered. What was it? 8-1
by Colorado. Yeah.
First game. Yeah.
Woo. So
yeah, I really think if all of those injuries don't happen, Montreal is really in this series. Like they have a legitimate chance to win if they get Evans back and if they get Petrie back. And I think John Merrill was out. Like if all these guys come back and the lineup's performing as at best they can, like then, oh yeah, Montreal has a serious shot. But if those guys stay out, then there's not a lot of hope for this team.
Yeah, or
Well,
come back and aren't at 100.
The key for me here is Jeff Petrie, right? And you know, we already know that his fingers have to be sewn together basically for him to even be, you know, think about taking the ice. And I know that, you know, you look at Vegas, they're missing Krebs and Nosek, so it's not really comparable in terms of talent that they're missing. Like Jeff Petrie is one of the major parts of their defense, but even then, I'm still not convinced. I don't think you can get me on board with the fact that that Montreal would have a chance in this series against this team. Maybe they push it to 6 or 7 games, but I think Vegas is the ultimate winner of this series in any sort of simulation. We'll see what happens on the ice because, again, and let me just throw this out there, I am 1 game closer to winning our bet, which is Montreal doesn't win a game in this series. So I'm extra happy about that.
Yeah.
So I'm a game, 3 games away, guys. 3 games away.
That's true.
Countdown's on, baby.
Adam, that's hilarious. Part of me wants it to happen just for you to go full heel.
Right.
I want you to be Ted DiBiase, walk into the ring with your belt.
Yeah.
And you've customized it to have your face and it spins. And just, that's all I want. All I want is to watch Adam go full heel.
And if you're right, Steve and I will split the donation.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
or
great.
something.
So yeah, we'll figure it out.
Same difference.
So
Still don't know how I got included.
Here's what I'd like to say. If I'm going to go full heel, I would like New York Islanders fans to recognize what somebody who's rooting for them, who doesn't necessarily cheer for them on a regular basis, looks like. That's me. I am cheering for the New York Islanders.
Are we moving on to that?
Yes. Do we need to talk more about Montreal?
Yeah.
Vegas?
So Vegas, one thing out of game 1, Alec Martinez looks great. Great play on the goal. The fake, unbelievable. Elliot Friedman goes on 31 podcast on, I guess it was Monday, whatever, says Vegas probably doesn't re-sign Alec Martinez. He's
heard that.
Fucking big bomb. So $4 million this year, he probably gets the biggest paycheck of his career coming up this offseason. He's a UFA. Do you guys want him in Toronto? Where do you think he lands? Who should be targeting this? He's stud defenseman at this point. And he's only going to prove it if this series goes long and he keeps performing as he is, and it goes to the Stanley Cup final, and he has an even better one. The money just keep going to go up. So what do you guys think of?
He's been a target before.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Martinez as a UFA?
Very interested in him. Yeah, very interested in him. I would like help on the right more. So I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so how do you make could the Leafs somehow get Martinez and Hamilton? We're already at this part of the offseason.
And lose Riley.
Almost certainly no. Well, yeah, you would have to lose Riley, but because you're getting Martinez, you don't care. Or Hamilton, you know, you figure it out. Yeah, they should be all over. This is how damaged I am after that loss. Like Dougie Hamilton is so clearly like one of the more underrated defensemen in the league. And if you have a chance to get him, you 100% should. But now I'm looking at every potential target and going, and what have you done? Have you won? Have you won anything? Now, it's not like the only people allowed to win are people who have already done it. That's not how it works. And success is not always linear. I was thinking about the 2012 Kings. There was no, prior to them being gods, reason to assume they would do that. Like no real playoff success leading up to that. They were the 8th seed against the President's Trophy winners and killed them. So, you know, you don't have to be a proven winner in the NHL to win in the NHL. But we were just talking about Alec Martinez last show and his Stanley Cup winning goal. Jake Muzzin got a pretty good view of it.
It's not bad.
Got a pretty good view of it.
Can I throw a wrench in that?
Sure.
He's 33.
Yeah.
So with the big UFAs, we keep talking about these long-term deals. Martinez is not getting that. He's not. He's like, because like you said, he's 33. I think players are more likely, and I should have said this last episode. I listened back to our Taylor Hall conversation, and I maybe didn't articulate this well enough. Because the big money is not there anymore. It's just gone. It's just gone because of the pandemic. and everything. I think winning matters so much more. Not that it didn't ever for players, but they're going to look around and they're going to go, okay, that big payday isn't going to be there. I can squeeze every dollar, or I can go somewhere where I'm going to win. I can go give someone a good deal and win.
So he's going to go to Toronto?
Could do that. No, I'm not saying with Toronto. I'm not saying, listen, if you want to win, you don't come here.
Right.
I'll say that as a Leafs fan. If you want to go somewhere where you have a proven shot to win, why on earth would you come here?
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to leave a little bit. You're going to quote unquote leave money on the table. You're probably leaving 2019 money on the table, realistically, for the best situation possible to win.
Is it that the money is gone in terms of big dollars, or is it just gone from more teams? Because I still feel like there's still teams who will want to spend and give out the big contracts. It's just that number of teams has dropped significantly from the league because of the pandemic.
It's the actual dollars and it's the cap.
Mm-hmm.
It's teams don't have actual dollars and they don't have actual cap space.
Do you think it's with amongst all teams? Because I think okay, not all teams have that big dollars, but some will still want to spend a certain amount of money, and maybe we're going to allocate this amount to the big name players, and then we cut somewhere else, like in the middle range. Like maybe it's the $3 million players who hurt, and you still have the $10 million, $9 million deals, and then that pandemic cut of the salary comes amongst the lower level contracts. Like I can see that playing out as well.
They're seeing that with the Leafs right now. I mean, the Leafs have basically already done that. And I think a lot of teams are looking at them going, well, it's not really working out for them. And if we're talking about big dollars, who do you allot that to besides Dougie Hamilton? I mean, maybe you trade for Jack Eichel. So maybe those are your two targets.
Oh my God.
But
yeah,
you know what I mean? But other than those two, Alec Martinez is a $4 million defenseman right now, because that's, I think, his salary this year. Mm-hmm. He might get 5 over 3 years, in the offseason or something like that. Valuable guy, valuable player. But, if you guys are telling me that Taylor Hall is not going to get big money this offseason, I
think Taylor Hall is going to get big money.
Yeah, I think he is too.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get big money. Steve, okay, we'll jump into this now because I think this is important. James Myrtle reported today, James Myrtle of The Athletic and of the Steve Dangle Podcast family, reported today that it's pretty much done with Zach Hyman. Probably he's done in Toronto. And he's going to command somewhere. Chris Johnson said this too. Somewhere in the neighborhood of $6 to $6.5 million a year.
He's done because of big money.
Yes. And here's the funny part. So you would pay $6.5 million for a guy with bad knee history who's 29, and his career high points pace was this year at 63, or Taylor Hall. Is that what you're telling me the NHL is going to do?
Someone will. No.
But people were like, even in the comments, I read the comment section. Oh, Taylor Hall's not more than a $5-6 million player. You're out of your fucking mind. Yes, he is.
But you also got to remember, we're talking about a player in a unique situation. So again, when I was listening back, you were talking about Dougie Hamilton being the belle of the ball on defense. Up front, it's Taylor Hall for the second consecutive year, right? So it's very interesting for him. What happened to him last year? He was humiliated. He was.
Well, because a team walked away from him.
A team walked away from him. Yeah, but he's the belle of the ball. Like he's the forward. It shouldn't be the Preds walking away from you shouldn't make or break your summer. Everyone should want you.
Well, that's his agent's fault, though.
Yes, it is.
They took.
So he's going to go. Listen. Boston. Let's say it's Boston. Boston. I was good for you, wasn't I? Yeah. All right. Don't insult me, and let's get this done. You know what I mean? I think Taylor Hall is going to go somewhere on less than you think.
So
I don't think he gets 8.
So my question is, do you take Taylor Hall at 7 or Zach Hyman at 6.5?
Sure. I love Zach, but Taylor Hall.
Yes. 100%. Yeah.
I love Zach very, very, very much.
And it's funny what fresh meat on the market looks like versus a guy who isn't fresh meat. He was the big get last year, and he wasn't gotten except for by the Buffalo Sabres. And all of a sudden now, well, because he had a 2.3 shooting percentage or whatever in Buffalo, we're not really so sure about Taylor Hall. I mean, listen, what's Taylor Hall won?
One series, and it was this year.
We also got to ask how many years. If it's $7 million, is Taylor Hall going to get 7 years?
I think he's going to get 7 years.
Well, like you look at so many players who have been put in unhappy situations by signing these long deals that don't make any sense. Get good money for Taylor Hall for 4 years is more than reasonable.
Well, they make sense. Long-term deals always make sense for the player because that's just security in your entire life. Mm-hmm. Like if you're a player, yes, financial sense, it always makes sense. Like you always just sign the big contract because you're a hockey player and your knees could go out at any moment and your production would be cut in half and all of a sudden you're not making any money and you're out of the NHL. Like, I don't fault any player ever for taking the most amount of years.
I agree. I 100% agree with that. Too. I 100% agree with that. There's lots of players getting traded from team to team to team who literally cannot play anymore. Mm-hmm. Like literally cannot take the ice. Something would have to happen to Taylor Hall to make him that. But there are those long-term deals, make sure you get paid for the longest. But they also oftentimes make it difficult for you to stay in the National Hockey League. How bad do you want to stay in the National Hockey League?
Well,
you know what I mean? You're going to get older. It's coming for all of you. All of you.
Right.
You're going to get older. Do you want to win? Do you want to be pressured out of town, shipped out of town, or do you want to be appreciated?
Would you qualify Taylor Hall as a great level hockey player? There's elite level, which you Connor McDavid.
He's great.
I think he's great.
Great. Okay. I think the definition of great is
what would you call him? What would you call him?
I'd say great is like all-time great.
No. I didn't say all-time great. I just said great right now.
No, I mean
great
like
player right now.
Great amongst the elite players right now. No, I
didn't call him elite. I said he's great. I said he's great amongst most players. Right?
Wait, do you have elite above?
Yeah, elite is Connor McDavid, motherfuckers. Okay. Great is the second level.
Jesse, would you be president or choose high or low?
You guys
can you tier it instead of using your funny words?
McDavid is tier 1.
Okay.
Tier 1.
Yeah.
And I put Crosby, McKinnon on that tier, right? Maybe Matthews, depends on what model you want to look at. But I put Crosby, McKinnon, and McDavid on that tier.
I put Taylor Hall in tier 3.
Tier 3?
Yeah, because I think you have the McDavid, McKinnon, Kucherov tier, and then you have the second tier where you get like I put JT probably in that tier, just some of the other stars on the team, and then you get a tier 3 where you have Taylor Hall, because Taylor Hall, you got to remember, like on a team like Boston, he's a second line player, and like and a winger, like there's a whole line and a centerman who are ahead of him on his own team. How am I putting him in tier 2 with the second best players in the league? You know? So like that's where I'm putting Taylor Hall. We're ranking tiers.
For legacy, like, okay, take the Leafs out of the conversation.
Hang on,
like,
I would like to complete the point I was trying to make.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Before I got derailed. The point I'm trying to make here, Steve, is remember Roberto Luongo's press conference where he said, I wish I could tear this contract up?
My contract sucks.
Your contract sucks, and he got
paid.
Yeah, he got paid. And guess what? He also got traded eventually, which is what he wanted.
No cut.
And he got traded back to Florida, and he was happy.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, for guys who are pretty damn good, and I would put, if you won't put them in the great category, we'll put them in the pretty damn good category.
Tier 3.
Taylor Hall.
I take tiers very seriously.
Is not going to have trouble being skilled enough to be in the NHL. And here's what I would also say to you is, okay, so Taylor Hall goes, I signed a 3-year deal, but I left $30 million on the table.
I'm not going to do it.
Is that going to make you happy? No. That's not going to make you happy. It isn't. So they're signing a long-term deal this offseason, guys.
You can always get traded.
Yeah, fuck it. Why? I'm worried about 3 years from now if I'm going to be liked here or not. How about right now? And how about generational wealth? I don't think anyone gives a shit about what happens 3 years from now. I think they're going, how am I right now?
Throw a Taylor Hall deal at me. Just throw it at me.
49 million, 7 years.
So 7 times 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it at you.
Jesse, throw it at me.
Catch it.
I threw 7 times 7. What Adam says very good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very good.
So Taylor Hall is sitting on $52.2 million in career earnings. You guys are, with your contract, putting him over 100. Putting him over 100.
I know where you're going.
What matters to you? What matters to you? Like Jesse just talked about greatness. What matters to you.
No, it's not the same. Not all hockey players look at it the same. Some guys, this is
Well,
a
they
job,
look at it wrong.
Steve.
They look at it
Steve,
wrong.
You
But
are
that's
David
not up
Pasternak.
to you.
You are
Like-
David Pasternak in a sea of David Clarksons.
Yeah.
David Pasternak's been to the Stanley Cup final at least
Sure.
once.
Sure.
But
And listen,
we
money
don't want to
doesn't matter
say
to
it,
him.
but some guys who are playing professional sports,
Don't give a shit about winning.
they care about money more
That's-
than winning,
but
which
yeah,
is
and-
fair. You can look at life wherever you want, how you want to look at. Maybe their family life and taking care of having generational wealth is more important than winning a ring.
Man, his cap hit this year was $68,966 per day. Almost 69,000, which would have been nice. Like, all I'm saying, you take $9 million off that 49, which is significant,
Mhm.
and you still have over $90 million in
Mhm.
career earnings. Yes, there's tax. Yes, there's your agents. Yes, there's escrow. For God's sake, what do you want to do with your life?
Make $9 million more. Like,
Yeah. Oh, guys, I'm glad I got to the third round several times because that 30 million sure would have sucked.
you know what's guaranteed? Hey, Adam, I can guarantee you one thing. You'll have $9 million.
Mhm.
Or I cannot guarantee you that your team's going to win because hockey is just a bouncing disc on the ice and nobody knows who's going to win.
Jesse, you already know
Man.
where I'm going with this.
Do you want the $9 million? Or do you
I'll
want
take the guarantee for 9 million, please.
the mystery box of
Absolutely.
winning.
Listen,
This is
who
a
doesn't-
horrible way to look at it in terms of sports.
Mhm.
And it's horrible. It's horrible.
Mm.
Oh my God.
Okay, let me throw
Oh, it's
something at
terrible.
you. Let me throw something at you, Steve. Let me throw a different example at you. LeBron James signs a 1-year contract every year.
One by
You know
one.
why? Do you know why he signs a 1-year contract every year?
For a $40 bajillion, yeah, because he gets more money that
Because
way.
he wants to make league max. Even though
Yeah.
LeBron James has signed a lifetime contract, I think, with Nike that'll pay him $1 billion. Do you think that it does matter? And no one can tell me that winning doesn't matter to LeBron James. The guy went to 7 straight finals. It matters.
None of these players have done anything close to what
But
he's
that's
done.
not the point, Steve. The point is
certainly
you're
is
saying-
the point.
You're
You brought
saying,
up a guy and
you're
he's not a
saying
good
give
example.
up money for a chance maybe at the Stanley Cup final. You got to remember 2 years ago, the defending Stanley Cup champions this year, they got swept by the fucking Blue Jackets.
No, there
It's
can't.
hockey. You go get the money.
It can't all be luck. And like we're acting like the Blue Jackets were passengers
won the
in their own
President's
defeat
Trophy.
of the Blue Jackets were passengers in their takedown of the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's just not true. It's just not true. The Blue Jackets beat them as
Right.
competitors.
So are you
trying
going to
to
feel good
compete
about
for
giving
a
up
championship.
Okay, but if
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
going to feel good about giving up $30 million if by some chance some plucky upstart team sweeps you? Are you going to feel good
Okay.
about that?
This point that you're making is great for the 2019 Tampa Bay Lightning. They all took less and they fucked up and lost. You know who screws it up? The Tampa Bay Lightning of the very next year, who won and are in the Final Four again and might win again.
The argument that they all took less is a little.
Also, yeah, they did.
That's
They
a
took
little
less
straw
than they
man.
could have.
Sure.
Who's all? The entire team didn't.
They didn't squeeze. They didn't squeeze them
who
like the
didn't
Leafs
take
players
less?
did.
Who didn't take less?
In
Let me look at this
I
team.
wish.
Let me
I
look at
wish.
this team.
Let me say this, Steve. I wish
Go
we
ahead.
lived in a reality where all professional athletes cared about winning as much as the three of us do in terms of our sports teams. But they are humans, and not all of them do. And some of them like money more than winning. And in reality, this happens, and guys will take the paycheck more than winning a championship. But I wish that wasn't the case, and that they cared as much as we do.
Steven Stamkos was an unrestricted free agent and signed for $8.5 million.
Mhm.
You stop it. You stop it right now. Victor Hedman makes 7.8. You stop it right now. Will you stop it right now? There's no way.
It's two
They
guys.
took less.
There's two guys. I'm not saying. I'm not
The whole
saying.
fuck. Oh my God.
I'm not saying there aren't guys. Like, I'm saying that some guys don't and some guys do.
I know. I mean,
Are you-
like, okay, Zach Hyman does not have to return to the Leafs,
Mhm.
for example. He does not need the money.
Well, if he wants to win, he shouldn't. He shouldn't.
If he wants to win, yeah, let's just have an open and honest conversation. If he wants to win, he should not sign with the Toronto Maple Leafs. They suck. So they don't suck. They just suck at winning, which I guess means they suck. So it has nothing to do with the Leafs, but he should not chase every goddamn dollar. He should chase championships. He should chase a legitimate chance at a championship.
Yeah, and some guys
so should Taylor
Steve.
Hall.
Some guys do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I'm advising these guys to be those guys.
Once they've made
I
their
don't
money.
understand what you're disagreeing with.
Ray Allen's a perfect example. Ray Allen.
I'm saying there's both, you know?
Ray made the big bucks and then went and signed with a bunch of LeBron teams. And he won a championship as being a core of the Celtics, I think.
Well, we're talking about how much
Miami,
luck is involved in hockey. So you're talking about make your money and then hopefully you still have knees at 37 and you're needed and can compete on an NHL roster.
I have no problem with that.
That's the plan?
You're an athlete. Go secure the bag.
That's not a plan. That's a hope and a prayer.
Okay, well then I'll take my chances and take my 30 million plus, please.
No, Adam, don't
You're
take
saying
the
that as a guy
$30
who doesn't already have it. These guys are already rich.
Adam, you don't deserve $30 million.
You're right.
You deserve
a
championship.
I am getting stressed as someone who does not have the talent.
Yeah.
Watching these guys piss away an enormous opportunity.
Yeah.
Shame.
Oh, maybe we can lose in the semifinals this year.
Ooh, that sounds appealing.
$9 million. Gonna give it up.
That's a shocking take. That's a shocking take, boys.
I don't think it's as shocking as you think it is. I think there's going to be a lot of high and mighty people in our comment section, but
it's a genuinely terrible take.
Also, I think we're very down the middle on this in that, both situations can exist. You can chase championships at a point, and you can also maximize your earnings.
Which is what I said with
I know
LeBron.
they both exist.
So here's the thing. The Sabres
Chasing money is the wrong one.
The Sabres can come in and offer Taylor Hall $11 million. He's not taking it. He's not taking that. No, the Sabres could come in and be like, hey, we'll give you $11 million. He's like, yeah, fuck off. No way. Not a chance. But he might sign in Boston for 7 or 8. That if it's a long-term deal, I think he does that. But you're talking about Taylor Hall taking like a 5 or a 4-year contract at reduced money. Why?
No, I'm not.
Why does he need to? Yeah, you are. Isn't that what we're talking about?
I'm talking about reduced term. I think it's smart to have reduced term.
It's smart
so
for
he's
what?
leaving money on the table for fucking winning. These guys, so many of these guys who sign long contracts when they're 29, 30, 31, almost all their deals go to shit and they end up somewhere they don't want to.
But they have the money.
I think the teams know.
But they have the money. They didn't win shit.
I think you need to stop thinking about these deals as though the team and the player don't know that this is where it's headed. I think everybody knows when a contract like that is signed that the deal will go to shit. I think that's the point. I think everybody goes, listen, we don't care. I think, as much as we give Dave Nonis hell, he had the right, the way that NHL teams will say it publicly is not this. But when Clarkson signed to Toronto, he said, I don't care about the last 3 years. I don't care. Because they thought, well, we're on the verge of a Stanley Cup. Now, the team was flawed. They were awful. Dave Nonis was not a good GM, and that was a terrible thing. But I can tell you that that's how teams look at it. Like, look at the Toronto Blue Jays when they signed George Springer. You think that they're like, man, I can't wait for year 7 of that deal. And they don't even have a salary cap. They have like a luxury tax. They don't care. It's like, no, what are you going to do now with this core now? Because with these guys, we got these young guys, and Springer hasn't done shit because he's been injured. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I think that anybody signing a Zach Hyman, anybody signing an Alec Martinez has got to be aware of this. If you're signing a long-term deal with a guy who's 29, 30, 31, Steve, as you mentioned, you're probably looking at trying to get rid of that contract in year 5, 6, or 7. And when the Leafs signed Matt Martin, I think it was either Chris Johnson or Nick Kyprios came on the show and said, he's not playing here the last 2 years.
It was CJ.
CJ,
yeah. That's right.
They said he's here for the next 2.
That was Marlowe. Right.
Was it Marlowe?
No, it was Martin.
Martin as well.
No, Marlowe as well.
I think it was
Marlowe as well then.
Yeah, Marlowe as well. Yeah.
Well, fair. Now the Marlowe deal, that was rough.
And what happened?
I think you sign these contracts. Well, he left money on the table. San Jose was going to offer him more per year.
And he came here, try to win, gets bought out, and ends up in San Jose where a bunch of people are like, congrats on playing a big old bunch of games.
Yeah. They could have had more money.
I can't wait for that 30 for 30.
Patrick Marleau.
Yeah, and how he made $96.2 million, but he could have made a clean 100. It's like Modano on 14.99 games You know, it's the exact same. He's going to be like, oh, you know what? I could have made $100 million.
And I think there's nothing wrong with prioritizing finances and generational wealth when you have the opportunity over winning a silver trophy. I'm sorry. I don't think there's a problem with that.
I don't understand.
So you don't understand
generational wealth.
Wanting
How
your
many
grandkids to be
generations?
rich. You don't understand. You want your grandkids to be rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam, you could cut Marlowe's career earnings in a quarter and his grandchildren will be rich.
Probably not. Not the way these guys live. And you know that. You know how these guys live. They don't live like you. They're not moving to Oshawa. They are
separate. That's a separate. You're right, but it's a separate conversation.
They're not wearing free Nike gear from Vancouver 2010 for the rest of their life. Hey,
you know. I've donated almost all of that. Not all of it, but most of it.
What I'm trying to say is,
I can brag about that.
Like a lot of people who make that kind of money spend that kind of money, and a lot of people will be on me about this. I know that's
a terrible way to live your life.
Well, if I did, I wouldn't. You know what? We don't know what you would do because you don't make that kind of money. You don't make it. So how the fuck would we know? Well, I just know myself, and that's how I would be. What if you were making that money from age 18? I think maybe you would. Yeah. And I think if all of your friends were driving a Lamborghini, you might go, yeah, I want one too.
And these guys who are scouted when they're 9 and have agents when they're 11, by the time they're 18, they already have this network of vultures who surround them. And I just wish they hadn't, because then you could achieve, Jesse, what's the word? Greatness.
Oh, greatness.
Because you're earning money for other people. You're earning money for your camp and for the people who have been leeching off you since you were a literal child, instead of yourself and future generations.
Fuck them.
That money's going to be at the bottom of the lake before your kids out of high school. What are you talking about?
Steve, I respect your argument that you shouldn't think of the money first. That there are other things on the line. It's very noble. It's a very noble way to think, and I feel like it's good advice for people in certain situations.
It's naive and romantic. Sorry.
It speaks to who you are. You are
naive.
Romantic.
I'm naive and gullible. No, because I'm talking about sports. I'm talking about sports in a manner of, hey, let's try to win the sports.
Yes.
But that's a naive and gullible way of looking at it. It's a romantic and old and fictional way of looking at it. It is about A, money, B, money, C, money. I hate it.
And no owner buys a team and goes, man, I sure hope to lose a pile of money but win some cups.
That's what all the owners do, because they have more money than, okay, they don't have let's go to space money. So they're like, let's get a championship money. Right? Who makes money off of their sports team?
I think it's a good
very few. They care about winning.
No. If you bought a sports franchise, the value's only gone up.
Like you ain't winning it.
It's like buying real estate.
You ain't buying an NHL franchise. Not an NHL franchise.
Yeah, no, 100%. NHL sports franchises across the board have gone up in value in the last 10 years.
It's an equity purchase.
Yeah. Steve,
you're not looking at the month to month. You're looking at the equity over time.
Yeah.
You
know, we're just financing deeply unhappy people, like instead of cheering for anything.
I don't think that means they're deeply unhappy, Steve. I think that's a gross generalization. I think they're going, here's a fun purchase. Here's something where I can make money in 10 years and I could go to a bunch of hockey games for free. That's pretty cool. Let's do it. Who wouldn't? I would.
I've watched too many Leaf games. And I know too much. And I'm just very jaded at the moment.
Okay. Well, listen, I respect your point of view. Like, I hope you know that. Like, it's wonderful.
What's my point of view?
Wonderful that an adult can feel that way. I love that. It really is. And
I'm a child. You see?
That's not what I'm
gullible, naive child to think that winning matters for anybody.
Winning does matter.
Oh, wipe your ass.
It matters a lot. For some guys think about it like you, Steve. Some guys, they reach a point in their career where winning is all that matters.
Yeah.
You know? That's the reason. That's the reason Spezza comes here. Thornton came here. Marlowe came here for winning.
This is why Spezza should have a goddamn statue. Like, genuinely. This is why Spezza should have a goddamn statue. But I think most people look at it the way that I think you're alluding to, which is let's make a bunch of money and hopefully I happen to win a championship.
Yeah. And in other sport, like in if you look at the NBA right now, like the reason James Harden left the Houston Rockets and got fat at the beginning of the season and bought his way out of there and went to Brooklyn was so he could win.
Matter.
He had his $50 million a year and he said, next thing I want is to win. So I'm going to go team up with KD and Kyrie. And that's what he did. So like this isn't like, hey, nobody cares about winning. This is just entertainment. These guys are only doing this for money. No, these athletes, they 100% care about winning, but there are other things involved because they're human. And at times they care about winning more than money. And at times they care about money more than winning. It's both.
It's the percentage. I get jaded by the percentage.
Yeah. And then you're a little upset.
I just, you see where I'm at, like mentally with sports, like just, I don't know. I used to think the sports mattered in sports.
What do the players always say?
It does.
I think the sports get in the way of the money.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case either. I think sometimes you can want to make a lot of money and go, I'm going to sign with the team that gives me the best chance to win. So if Edmonton comes in and offers Zach Hyman 6.5 and the Leafs are like, we can do 4, Zach Hyman's going to Edmonton because he's got a fairly good shot at winning there. You got to think they're going to figure out the whole Connor McDavid thing. If the Sabres
yes.
and Boston, the Sabres offer 7x7 and the offer from Boston is 6 years at $7 million for Taylor Hall. We know he's going to stay in Boston. So it does matter on that level. There's $7 million, but we're talking years and years and years. I have a hard time with that one. Is
there any chance Hyman comes back to Toronto just to circle the conversation?
Well, James didn't seem to think so in his article. Chris didn't seem that pumped about it either when he was on the show.
I think he'd be 100% willing to leave money off the table if this team proved fucking anything this year. And all they proved was they're losers.
I think they want a huge discount from him too, and I think it's an unfair ask.
Not a huge discount.
His market value, Steve, we're talking about 33%. His market value is $6 million. They want to offer 4. That's a lot.
Well, no, 4 is ridiculous. But like, would you do 5? Hey man, you get to play for your hometown team. You grew up here. You got a life here. And you're going to
probably sign the extra 8th year or whatever it is.
Zach Hyman, the impression I get is he could play for free for the rest of his life and he'd be fine. Mm-hmm. But how about an extra 25 mil? But here's 5 times 5 or 7 times 5, whatever that is. 35 math. Like here it is. And you'll be well played. And hey, we went to the 3rd round this year. So, we're close. Mm-hmm. I think it's a much easier sell, but they fucked it. I hate this team. I hate them. Oh my God.
I don't think they fucked it. I think
what they do.
I think
they did great.
I think that
they won. They achieved.
Can I be the guy that says that I think that it's okay that they're letting him go?
Well, because they don't have the room.
I think more than that. And I love Zach Hyman, but this is a 29-year-old who's had major knee surgery. I am concerned about his durability. And we're talking about, Steve, we're talking about long-term contracts. Mm-hmm. I'm actually okay with this. And I'll tell you why. I think you can get Granlund. You got Granlund at 5 or 4 for 2 years. Seems a lot better to me on a value add perspective, especially if you're dealing from the fact that the core 4 are staying together. And that's how we have to look at this because that's how Leafs management is looking at this. You're saying to me, okay, well, the Leafs management wants to keep the 4 guys together at least 1 more year. Fine. So dealing from that perspective, Zach Hyman got a huge spotlight because he was on a very good Leafs team this year. Edmonton apparently is just bananas about this guy, and I don't blame them. But I also think it would be a huge mistake for the Leafs to sign him any more than 3 or 4 years. I do. And he's going to get it. So
why would they sign him to 3 or 4 years?
No. I think for the Leafs, they shouldn't. I'm saying for him, he shouldn't accept less. Mm-hmm. And that's when there isn't a fit anymore.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a very good point.
And so
there's just no fit.
Right. And it was
I'm really never going to forget these guys.
It's like that with Jake Gardner.
Oh my God.
It seems like the Hyman era just came to a natural conclusion. Yeah, where it's reached a point in his career where it doesn't fit on the team anymore.
Like Gardner,
could bring us to what I was texting you guys earlier, but you're like, no, save it for the show. Save it for the show.
Which is?
Everyone's talking about Riley as this trade chip. And what, you're just going to lose him next year for nothing? Why not? Just lose him for nothing. You lost everyone else.
So you wanted
You
them
lost
to,
Hyman for nothing?
you wanted the Leafs to trade Hyman this year.
No.
Okay.
I'm just
So-
mad. Let me be mad.
Mhm.
I'm just mad, and I need to be mad at them.
Yeah.
I'm very, very mad at them. So now it's officially about the Leafs. I'm
Okay.
so very, very mad at them. And they gotta, like me personally, they gotta find a way to win me back as a fan. But like, there's so many fans who think like me or worse.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
The-
100%.
From what I'm seeing around town, I've never seen I've seen disappointment. This is like outright anger, and to the point where it's almost apathetic again. It's almost as bad as it was when they were so bad, and before they got before they were bad on purpose. Remember the bad on purpose year?
Yeah,
That-
it was the waffle years, like when
The
people
year-
throwing them on the ice.
The
Because they
year
were
before
shitty by accident.
the year before the bad on purpose year, that was the worst. The Horacek. That was just horrible. And that's when I saw Leaf fans go, yeah, I give up. So what is Leafs management going to do this year? Fans that back in the building to hook you back in, because they do need to make a big move. They need to show the fans, as crazy as this sounds, as people are going to be like, well, they got to do what's right for the team. Yeah, what's right for the team is fans in the fucking seats. And I'm sure there'll be people there. But the Leafs have a cash cow here. They have to make a lot of money up that they lost over the pandemic. They need to make a big move to get people like Steve, like myself, and like Jesse back on board. Because I can tell you right now, I don't think the core four have it.
No.
I don't think they have it. Steve, do you think they have it?
No.
Jesse, you think they have it?
To win?
Yeah.
Like a championship? No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I
Need
don't.
more pieces. They need
And
more
we're
pieces.
so unanimous in that, and everyone else is too. And maybe they'll shock us, but like, again, I've seen this movie too many times, and my Babcock senses are tingling, and we're wasting our time again.
Fellas, how's that beach pod treating you? Manscaped wants to help, especially if you've got the bare chest or the sweater vest. You know what I'm talking about, right? Manscaped is dedicated to helping you take your level of grooming to the next level. There are levels, and you need to be on the top one. So the Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the Essential Lawnmower 3.0, waterproof, cordless body trimmer, and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. This is the best trimmer on the market for those of you, like me, who need a chest shave. See? My chest, and I shaved mine down a little bit there. See? Looks good. Now, the third generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents, which, as you know, are very, very important. And if you subscribe to the Perfect Package, you get a new blade refill for your lawnmower every 3 months, delivered right to your door. And for a limited time, subscribers get 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag and a patented set of high-performance, chafe-reducing Manscaped boxers. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor. Always use the right tools for the job. 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com, code word DANGLE.
Can I break news on the podcast?
Please.
Sure.
Jason Spezza has re-signed.
Hey, no way.
That's
There you
good.
go.
There you go. Did you see my genuine reaction? My genuine reaction. That's
Yeah.
how it starts. God damn it. How much
no,
is it?
No details of the deal. The Leafs official Twitter account just tweeted out Spezza's staying home. Jason Spezza
750.
has signed a 1-year contract extension.
I'm going to look up Cap Friendly, see if they have
Dude had 30 points in, what is it, 53 games, and took a $50,000 raise. Oh, honest to God. You know what? I want a Spezza jersey.
Cap Friendly
If
says
I was
it's
to get a
700
jersey
grand.
of,
Yeah, CJ tweeted out 750.
if I was to get a jersey of any Leafs player, it's 100% Jason Spezza.
I would do
100%
that.
Jason Spezza.
In fact, I think we should.
Should we get 3 Spezza jerseys?
Yeah.
What color you guys want?
I'm going to go blue.
Blue.
Yeah, I'm going blue. I always go blue.
Oh.
Yeah, the white jerseys are just annoying to wear, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I forget. You
I
have
have a
that weird
white
take where you
fucking
say
Marley
white jerseys
jersey.
are awful for
Oh,
fans.
it's the worst. I hate it because, like, if you're every time I wear it, I'm like, I'm going to stain this thing. I'm going to get mustard on it. Blue's perfect. It's like, you can't see anything. The white Marley's jersey, as beautiful as it is to look at, is very stressful to wear.
Now, here, can I ruin the party immediately?
Sure.
So this means
we go.
he'll be exposed for the expansion draft. I'm just saying.
He'll retire if he goes.
Yeah.
They're not taking him.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay. And I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's gonna.
I don't think it's gonna happen either. Oh, sorry. So I was thinking about something else, by the way. If you want to, do you want to switch off of the Leafs and me?
Sure. What do you want to do? What are you talking about?
What have we heard with Seattle and the difference between Seattle, this expansion draft, and the Vegas expansion draft?
Well, one thing, the draft is a lot less sure than it was at that point. And I think that factors in because everybody was like, well, at that point, we knew who the big prospects were. So I think there's a factor to that because I think Seattle's more willing to maybe deal some draft picks because they don't, it's like, who knows?
Better question.
Okay.
Why do people say Vegas was so good right away?
They gave players chances that hadn't got them.
That's true. How did they get so many good players?
Well, they invested in guys like Tom from General Fanager.
Yes.
Right.
Trades.
Okay.
They did extremely well in side deals. That's how they got Fleury. That's how they got William Karlsson. That's how they got Marchessault and Riley Smith. They got 2/3 of a line that's been together for 4 years, basically. But this year, oh, what have you heard about this year? No, not this time. Not me. Smart NHL general manager who are renowned for their smartness. No, not I. It's not going to happen to me. Except one thing, one drum Elliot Friedman has beaten consistently. I just choked on my own words. Is Seattle is going to want to go as close to the minimum they can spend with the salary cap as possible. Which does teams no good. It does teams no good.
Why do they want to do that?
But I think it's a bluff.
I think so too.
And they're saying this because teams are dying right now. Dying with their own lack of money, dying with their lack of cap space and the cap staying flat. Teams, maybe not yet, but the closer we get to the expansion draft, are going to be wearing out the knees in their pants, begging Seattle to take their contracts, and they're going to do the same stupid shit again.
And guess who's going to be first in line? I think I know who you're talking about.
I wasn't talking about anyone in particular, but Adam, go on and talk about Jim Benning.
Jim Benning, Vancouver Canucks. Now, it's interesting. Now, you send us this. This is from, so apparently the Jets, JP Barry was on Vancouver radio today. And JP Barry being the agent for both Pettersson and Quinn Hughes, said, I don't think we can do long-term deals for Pettersson and Quinn. The Canucks have cap issues. We've started the dance. We are engaged in talks. We've started the dance. We are engaged in talks.
Interesting. Now, why did that ruffle so many feathers in Vancouver?
Tell me, Stephen.
Well, you know, the interesting thing about JP Barry is that the only players he represents are Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes. The other interesting thing about that is I'm lying. And he also represents Louis Eriksson and Tyler Myers.
Oh.
So a lot of the I think you should leave hot dog memes have been going around. We're all trying to find the guy who did this. Like, that dude essentially owns a stake of the Vancouver Canucks. When those two have their contract, how much of the Vancouver Canucks cap hit will be tied to JP Barry?
That's a good question.
It's going to be massive.
If Aho's deal 7.5, you have to think Pettersson's in that area too, right?
Well, Aho's a little different because he was an offer sheet.
Okay. So do you not offer sheet Pettersson? If you've got...
Who can do it?
Why not?
Teams hate doing it in general.
Oh, I would just love to mess the Canucks up. That'd be very funny.
Well, the name that I think Merrick brought up, I went for a walk before this and listened to it. That's why it's so fresh in my head. But he was talking about Andrei Svechnikov getting offer sheeted, which would be extremely interesting. And just the problem, I think, is Carolina does business so slow, don't they?
They seem to like to grind negotiations. Yes.
Like the Aho thing dragged out, and now the Brind'Amour thing is dragging out, and it looks like this Svechnikov thing will probably drag out until he gets signed an hour after the show is posted. But they do business so slowly. But anyway, getting back to the Canucks, Adam, I think that cap hit is roughly right.
Quick question for you, Steve, just so I have clarity. I thought in my sleepy constant haze that Brind'Amour had signed.
No.
That's not done yet.
Too.
I thought we were close. Didn't we even do a show where they're like, oh, they're super close.
And Elliot was very cryptic about it. He was also like filling gas like while he was talking about it. So, but
Okay.
it's I don't understand what's happening there. And I think it's Tom Dundening, potentially.
Man, if Brind'Amour becomes available, you kick every coach you have out the door and you sign him and his staff immediately.
Yeah, man. I don't know what they're playing around with. I don't understand it. They do business way too slowly, and the Canucks probably do it a little too quickly. Maybe there's a happy medium. Maybe they should make a deal with each other.
That's that Seattle thing. That's a very, very interesting thought.
They're going to do the same stupid shit again.
Go ahead, Jesse.
On that as well. When with the Brind'Amour news, there was an article in the Seattle Times. I know it was either like today or yesterday that Brind'Amour could be the first head coach of Seattle if that
because he's got Ron. He knows Ron Francis.
Yeah, if that Carolina deal doesn't come to fruition.
So here's what's interesting. If you are Rod Brind'Amour, you know what Ron Francis would offer you, even though you're not allowed to talk. Everybody talks.
That's the
we
thing.
know that. We know how that works. And so you can't have official talks, but you can say, listen, Rod, what do you want? Just throwing it out there, whatever you want. We'll write it in the check. We'll put it in, and you bring whoever you want with you. So if they're giving you a hard time in Carolina, come talk to Ronnie in Seattle. You know what I mean? Because there's, the big mafia thing. I don't know why I turned Ron Francis.
Early. I'm Ron Francis. You know how he talks? Yeah.
But, Ron Francis goes, and, Ron Francis is very, very well kept, put together business. You know what, Rod, you just give us a shout. That's all he has to say.
There's a job. There's a job and a big pile of money on the other side waiting for Rod Brind'Amour. And he's at the negotiation table with Carolina. And he can just go over there and take it if he wants to. So he has all the power right now.
You want me to go off the board with something that'll never happen, but it'd be neat if it did?
Please.
All those side deals, I think they're called expansion considerations. What if the expansion consideration is here's Rod Brind'Amour?
Is that allowed?
Can you do that?
I mean, I'm sure you could find a way. It's like you can't say we traded our coach, like I said in my first ever LFR. You can't trade your coach, but I mean, you could do it handshake. Does
Carolina have anything that? Here's what I would do if I was the GM of the Kraken. I'd say, okay, we're going to offer sheet, just so you know. Hey, heads up, Don Waddell, again, great negotiator. So I'm not sure how Don would react to this. Be like, Don, we're going to give Svechnikov a lot of money. And
we're going to take someone from you.
So let Brind'Amour go.
Are you allowed to offer sheet if you're the expansion team?
Yeah, 100%.
That's a good question. I don't understand why they wouldn't be able to. Like, they just have
to have the picks.
Man, Carolina's, whoa. This is the problem with being a good team.
Everybody wants a piece.
It's, man, like
what
right
happened
now,
with the Leafs, man. I mean,
right now they're looking at losing a guy like, okay, well, Hamilton's going to UFA.
Maybe.
I would expose Jake Gardiner. Like, they're either going to lose like a Jake Bean, or if they choose to protect 4D, which I doubt it, they're looking at losing a guy like Teravainen or Niederreiter or Trocheck. Or Foss, like those are good players, man. You don't want to lose them.
You don't want. Maybe they don't re-sign Svech until after the expansion draft, assuming maybe they've got a what do they call that? Not a handshake deal, or is it a handshake deal with them? But like, listen, we don't want to have to protect you, so let's not sign yet.
I think they have to protect him.
But an RFA, a deal. You don't have.
RFAs you have to protect.
He's an R, yeah.
Oh, you do.
Yes, you do, sir. Yeah, no, UFAs is the get out of jail free card.
Okay.
RFAs, like, for example, Travis Dermott doesn't have a contract for next season, but Seattle could claim him. I'm trying to think of I can't think of any RFAs in particular who Vegas took, but yeah, you can.
You can. So then, I mean, it stands to reason then, as much as we're like, well, Dougie Hamilton can talk to other teams. They could say to Dougie, listen, we're not going to re-sign you. We need to protect as many of our core as possible. This is a really good team. So we're not going to re-sign you, but here's the deal we have for you July 1st. Or what is it? July? When's the expansion draft? The 26th of July?
That's a good question.
So I'd say here's the deal we have offered to you at July 27th.
I think it's before that.
Yeah, because free agency is 6 weeks from today.
They are absolutely not going to re-sign Hamilton before that. There's no
July
way.
21. July 21.
So I would be curious how many UFAs re-signed July 22.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what happened last time as well. You're also going to see a flurry of activity before it because teams want to know what the hell is going on. I'm curious why Spezza was signed now. I guess because they're just sure he won't be taken.
Yeah,
might as well.
And I think he was probably like, hey, listen, I got to get training.
I'm
the best player you have.
You know what would be funny is if like Seattle took him and then he retired and worked for the Leafs anyway in the exact same season.
Probably would.
I think that'd be funny.
Here's a question. Can you retire and then have your contract voided and then in the same season come back and sign with someone else?
Yeah, that's what, retirement. I don't know what the rules are with retirement, but isn't that what Nikita Gusev did this year?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. That one was confusing to me.
It's mutual termination.
Right.
By the way, everyone around July 20th, just if you're a big hockey fan, just book some time.
It's going to be fun.
Some time because expansion draft is July 21.
Okay.
The actual draft is July 23rd and 24th.
You know what I think we should do?
I am going to pass out.
You know what I think we should do? We should rent an Airbnb that weekend before, and then just the three of us, and then have they have a TikTok house. We should have a hockey house.
Oh my God.
And then
you want to make a content house, bro?
Yeah, content house, bro. So we can be like, hey, I'm David Dobrik, and I'm going to laugh at a Subway sandwich. And then we can just do hockey trades and tell people to smash the like button. What do you think?
I'm going to throw up.
I like that. And then we'll box.
Oh yeah, then I'm in. All right.
Yo, Jesse versus Steve. I'm here for it.
No.
Steve's got the power.
Hey guys,
Jesse's got the length.
we're here to talk about the expansion draft and friggin' I don't know. Sorry, I was doing my little elbow dance.
Fascinating
I'm cool.
stuff.
I'm young. I'm hip.
So another thing that came out. Well, we should mention first off, Gerard Gallant has signed with the Rangers. He will be their next head coach.
I'm so excited for them to win the division and then fire him.
Is their GM? Oh yeah, what is the deal with Gerard Gallant? Is their
what
GM
happens to him? Like I don't get it.
Have they named their GM or is he still interim? Like it wasn't, or is it the AGM? Chris Drury, right?
No, I think he's GM.
He is GM now officially. Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting. Good pick. I like Gerard Gallant. I think it's going to be good for the next 2.5 years. I mean, that's the shelf life for some reason.
What a resume.
I know. And then another thing that is really interesting, and I thought that this was, when Jesse brought this up, he's like, you should probably mention this. I was like, is this news? And I guess it is because the NHL has never really said whether or not helmet ads will continue. But we know that today the Jets have signed their helmet ad for the next 5 years. So helmet ads are here to stay, at least for the Jets. And probably for everybody else who likes money, which is every team.
It was never like they never announced it. They were never like, hey, helmet ads are going to continue, but they never didn't announce it. So nobody really knew. It was kind of just in purgatory. But now that it's a thing that's going to happen, like it makes sense. Like you wouldn't just, okay, we made a bunch of extra revenue this year and now we're going to eliminate that part. Like, no, we're going to keep going with this extra revenue because it didn't get away in the game, in the way of the game. So
Jesse,
the ads.
Guys, Jesse, it's about winning. It's not about helmet ads.
I was about to say it.
It's about winning.
Wouldn't they be happier if they didn't have them? I was about to defend myself. Listen, I'm not such a hippie that I think making money should be illegal.
I don't know. That's kind of what you said.
Hey, I got a question.
No, it's not.
On that topic, Steve, if money didn't matter, why do players get bonuses every time they win a playoff round?
Yeah, well, do they though?
Yeah, they do. They get like $1 million or something.
Some
like
of them. Some of
No. There's like the NHL pays the players.
Oh, it ain't a mill.
Or it's big money. I'm pretty sure it's big money.
I don't think it's a mill.
No, because you play in the playoffs. I thought you played in the playoffs for free.
Right, but I believe there is a playoff bonus structure in the NHL.
There are. I think it's some contracts, Adam. I don't think it's all.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because Chara activated one. I'm pretty sure. Trying to remember. Sorry, I was just going through my mentions, and people are really excited for me to watch a Hab game with Steve Dangle. Here's one from Rob. My left nut has more dangle than Steve Dangle.
Okay, let's not read.
What is?
Well, I don't know. I was waiting for Adam to read.
Okay, I'm just reading. Okay, so I'm players still receive compensation for a playoff appearance. The NHL and the NHLPA agree to set aside a playoff bonus pool to be distributed to each playoff team based on how far they advance. There is so for instance, in 12, 13, and 13, 14, this is before this particular thing, it was $13 million or twice the amount set aside in the earlier CBA. The pool was divided. President's Trophy winner got $500,000. Okay, so it goes to the team. First round losers, $250,000 to each team. Second round losers, $500,000 to each of those 4 teams. Third round losers, $2.5 million, which is $1.25 million to each team. Stanley Cup finalist, the team gets $2.25, and then the champion, $3.75 million for the team. And then the 2019-2020 playoff pool. So that was, I've been telling you something from 10 years ago.
Right.
The playoff pool in 2019-2020 is $32 million. So take all those
$1 million
numbers.
for a team from each team.
Yeah.
But
so
it's split among
the playoff bonus pool
hundreds of
doubling for
players.
the 19-20 season from 16 to 32. A player on a team that loses in a best of 5 qualifying round, this was last year, will receive $20,000. Players in each round will see bonuses increase from there, with the share from the Stanley Cup winning team being worth $250,000 a player.
That's for the Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
I'm curious to know what the limit on that is, because teams are carrying like 40 dudes by the end of it. They're not all getting $250,000.
I think probably maybe if you get your name on the cup, or maybe if you're playing, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. Is it like rings?
There is, and listen, before that might seem like small potatoes when you're Taylor Hall is making $7 million. You got to remember, majority of the team is not making that kind of money. If you're Jason Spezza, $250,000 is more than 33% of your salary.
Right. If you're an AHL call up, you had a good final stretch to the season, you managed to crack the lineup. No, that is genuinely a life-changing amount of money if you're a guy who's been making $70,000 a year up to that point.
Yeah, but none of it matters because the only thing that matters is winning.
Okay, I prefaced it all with they're already million bajillionaires.
We love you, Steve. I'm just bugging you.
We kid.
I'm like, there's going to be a lot of people who are like, you guys are really mean to Steve. Anyway, so the Jets helmet ads are back, and there will be a lot of people who don't care because, interestingly enough, even though there was a big hullabaloo about that last year, no one cares. Literally affects nothing.
Yeah, all the crying was preseason and none during.
Right. And I don't think I've seen a lack of Manchester United jerseys just because Chevrolet is the most prominent logo on it. Weird.
I just don't get it.
Anyway, let's get into the press conference, Jesse.
We didn't hit on Tampa, New York.
Oh, we didn't.
No.
Tampa, New York. Or Tampa, the game.
Yes.
The
series and the game.
Tampa. Oh, yeah, we didn't. I'm sorry.
Oh, God, that game was a fiasco.
Yeah,
okay, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought we had. It was my lead thing.
No,
and then
I
was going to go into, actually, I was going to say to Islanders fans, I am on your team.
Oh.
To all the Islanders fans that I say, the team plays boring. The team does play boring. I know it's interesting to you. Your team is winning. But it's a objectively boring style of play. And I also said, I made the New York Saints joke last week, and I got so many Islanders fans who were like, fuck you, man. They don't get the calls. Now, last night, they got a little frustrated with the ref, just a little bit.
I don't know why Islanders fans are so mean to the guy who invented Tavares Day.
I'm on your team. Anyway,
I know.
Okay, let's talk about the fiasco, Steve. How would you qualify this? How would you talk about this? What would you say?
The officiating, I mean, the NHL and MLB are just playing hot potato, because I called the NHL officiating the worst in professional sports. The MLB came in and said, hold my beer. And, I got a lot of people talking to me about the pitching thing. And then game 2 of that series happens. Who was it who pushed Braden Point?
Adam Pelech.
Adam Pelech. Like, I think Greg Wyshynski had the great tweet, because some people were talking about Braden Point and he wasn't pushed that hard, or he could have stopped. And he's like, do you think he like
that?
I mean, some people on Twitter, who cares? But he's like, what do you think? He stepped on a speed burst before? Like, he's on skates, he's on knife shoes on ice, and he got shoved at rocket speeds into Semyon Varlamov. Pelech hurt his own goaltender by being an idiot and doing the same idiot thing that so many other idiots in the NHL do, hurting their own goalie. With their dumb actions of hurling a 200 some odd pound opponent, maybe not Braden Point, but throwing a 200-pound opponent into your goalie. It's the dumbest thing ever. Point gets the penalty in a game that the Lightning are winning 1-0. And the Islanders score. They tie the game. Now, Tampa, I believe, goes up 2-1 with 7 players on the ice. Down goes Brown. Great point. He's like, so has anyone else made they can spend over the cap joke so that like this is allowed, or like, so there was that, but both coaches would have had, I don't see how you can fine either of them. So, because you're not allowed to critique league officiating, but what if it's dog shit? Can you simply say that dog shit is dog shit?
Is it recency bias, or has refereeing in the playoffs this year seemed worse overall than previous years? Because I feel like we're noticing all of these mistakes. And last night, the Pelech cross-check to Point was probably the most egregious one of the playoffs so far.
That thought occurred to me, Jesse. And then I remembered, no, we have this conversation every year. It's so bad. We can review if the ice tickled the mesh above the boards behind the net. We can't review if there were 7 people on the ice. Why? Or how about
an offside that happened a minute and a half in play before that?
No, that's fine. No, you can do that.
It doesn't have any effect on the current play, but okay. All right.
But Adam, the integrity of the game. How about you take a gander at who hurt the goalie while they're tending to the hurt goalie? How about you take a gander? Literally pull out your phone. Don't even have the ref skate over to the box. Like, literally take out your phone, go to Tic Tac Tomar's Twitter, because it's going to be up 45 seconds after it happened.
I don't know how
there's no reason that any dick watching the game at home knows the call is wrong and they don't. There's no reason for that anymore. Not today. Not in 2021. That's absurd. That Tampa went to the box for that shit and that they were allowed to score with 7 people on the ice. It's ridiculous. Why were either of those things allowed to stand?
So refereeing consistently bad, not worse than before.
I would say consistently bad.
It's the only thing they do.
That was my question out of that.
The one consistency I would say is that they're bad. Like, at least we can rely on that.
They're so bad. And then it gets worse once the game's over. Because, like I said this in the Dangus video, when Paul Mary's elbow on McAvoy in the Islanders-Boston series was so nasty. But you're going to miss things. You're going to miss things in game. Okay, fine. After the game? So in the National Hockey League, elbowing players in the head is legal. Like, you're just more susceptible to head trauma with hockey, I suppose.
That's what people would argue.
Yeah. But like, even when the trauma is on purpose, like, listen, accidental hits and whiplash, and I get that. Hey, Dustin Byfuglien colliding with Jamie Alexiak a couple years ago. That's 2 of the top 5 biggest players in the league colliding with each other. You heard that from miles away. There was a sonic boom when those two hit each other, and Byfuglien was wobbled by it.
Tavares getting, unfortunately getting the knee from Perry. I mean, that's an accidental thing.
What are you gonna do? And you can Gerard with listen, Tavares. The reason Tavares was hurt is he collided with Corey Perry. That was a total accident. Muzzin, falling during the bubble. That's a total accident. All the accidents I get. What about the elbows that are on fucking purpose? Elbows to the head of an opponent after the whistle. So it's not even part of play. Oh, it's part of the game. Bullshit. The game is in between whistles. It's so genuinely terrible. It's just really, really bad. And it hurts to watch. It hurts my soul to watch. It sucks.
But why do anything about it? Because if you have to do anything about it, then you have to be held accountable for doing something about it when your plan doesn't work. That is why they won't do anything. Yeah. Don't hold me accountable. I don't want to be held accountable.
Conspiracy theory. Drama is good for the game. What are you going to stop watching?
I'm not sure that this kind of drama is good for the game. Like, I think if you look at respected sports leagues, and the NFL, blew it with the Saints 3 years ago now in the playoffs. You guys remember that?
3 years, yeah. And in the final play of the game, there was a missed pass interference.
Yeah. And an egregious one.
Yeah.
And then, the NBA has had its issues with officiating, but you look at those leagues and they take steps to fix it. And it's not always perfect, but the NBA has to report that publicly.
Well, and the one that I'm leaving out. So there's that horrible call on Braden Point and it leads to a goal. And then people were tweeting me, like this one guy was hilarious. He goes, "Now where's the makeup call?" 3 minutes later, he tweets me, "There it is."
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't help but I was sitting there like Tim Peel is home watching this game. Tim Peel should still be reffing NHL games.
Well, he was going to retire. And
he should have been allowed to go out on his terms.
They didn't like him anyway.
I know.
So they wanted to get rid of him.
I know, but it's unjust what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's unjust what happened to him. You could, he's this rogue guy and he's the only one doing makeup calls. Nope. They're still there. It's still shit. It's really bad. I don't know what you do about that. It's not good. It's unjust what happened to Tim Peel. And it's a catastrophe what happened in that game.
The unfortunate part is it overshadows things like the way Nikita Kucherov played.
Yep.
Who was unbelievable. Just like single-handedly making space where no space is. And it's funny. When I watch Nikita Kucherov, I go, I know that's what Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner could be.
Oh, Adam, why? I was so excited to talk about a non-Leaf.
They could. Kucherov is he's like, it's like watching the waltz. He dances out there sometimes. He's so good. And last night was vintage Nikita Kucherov. When they talk about great playoff performances, to me, that's going to be it. He was amazing.
So I asked this question yesterday. What is the record for biggest discrepancy between your regular season point total and your playoff point total?
His is 0.
Yeah.
Okay. His is 0 versus 22 and counting. Yeah. This dude has 22 points in 13 games. This dude, when was the last time we had a 40-point playoff guy? Because if Tampa goes all the way, there's a chance he hits it because they're going to get to like 24 games, something like that. 25?
Matt Valesky's got to be up there, right?
Yeah.
His run with Anaheim. Remember? Oh, man. Matt Beleskey's it's going to be a big player.
Oh, Matt Beleskey. Sorry, Adam. I'm not going to lie. I thought you said Vasilevsky, and I was just going with it because I'm sure I missed part of this.
Matt Beleskey.
Yeah, like there are guys who they weren't that good in the regular season, and then in the playoffs, they like matched their total, or they had a few more. And some people were like, oh, John Druce, and, got to look that up. Kucherov is currently at 0 versus 22.
So he's plus 22.
34 last year. Sorry?
What's the highest plus? Do you have a number? Because he's plus 22.
No, I don't know. I want to know. I want to know the answer, but like I got to assume by the end of the playoffs, if he's, I mean, it seems like Tampa could lose and he'd be at plus 30.
Yeah, which has got to be, that's got to be the record. Like there's no other instance where this happened.
Has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's got 8 more points left in him at least.
Right?
Watch the Islanders shut him down.
Can Can we talk about? Can I mention the that 2-1 goal with the 7 players on how that's kind of the pathway for the Islanders to lose this series?
What, 7 players?
No, because on that goal, it's 2 Islander players, and what the Islanders always do, they pressure the puck.
Mm-hmm.
They don't let you leave your own zone. They hit you in the neutral zone. There's 2 Islander players. They go after Hedman, who's sitting below the goal line with the puck. He's starting the breakout. Everybody's leaving the zone. 2 guys go in after Hedman. Hedman feeds Kucherov to the opposite blue line. He finds the space because he's Victor Hedman, and he feeds him. It's a marvelous pass. Kucherov, he enters the zone, he spins around, finds Palat, they score. That's a goal. That right there is what Tampa did in the first game, what they didn't do in the first game that they did in the second game that allowed them to have a 4-1 victory. And if those
how many
things
Tampa defensemen can do that?
Well, it's not so much the Tampa defenseman doing it, but Tampa's skill. You're not going to be able to stop them every single time coming out of the zone. If your thing is, hey, we're going to attack the puck, Tampa has too much skill for you to bet that 4 times out of 7, you're going to do this enough times that they don't score enough goals to win 4 games. And I saw that play, and then I saw it happen when they're on the power play, and Victor Hedman finally scored a goal this playoffs. Hedman again, obviously, and they're just dancing around, and the Islanders aren't at 100% defensive pressure. We're not capitalizing on every single play we want to make in our little system. Tampa scores. And if the bet in the series is that the Islanders are going to out defense Tampa's offense, I'm going to take Tampa's offense every single time because of what I saw in game 2.
Yeah. And it's nothing against the Isles, but man.
Yeah. It's just, there's too much skill there for you to stop it every single time.
So last year, the Lightning were digging deep with Bogosian and Luke Shen. Can I read their 6D?
Oh, I hate this. I'm going to hate this.
Holy shit. Victor Hedman, Jan Ruda is their top pair. And I look at that and I go, okay, well, okay. Second pair, Ryan McDonough, who I always forget they have, and Eric Cernak. And their third pair, fucking how dare you, is Mikhail Sergachev and David Savard.
Oh, David Savard's on Tampa.
Get out of here!
How did they got him at the deadline?
Yes, for a first.
Oh.
Get out of here! That's oh my god, that's outrageous. And you know what? Islanders underrated storyline with them. They're doing this without Anders Lee.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, they're back in the Final Four, even though they traded Devon Taves. How about their friggin' captain is injured? Which sort of flew under the radar because their forwards are actually having themselves a little playoffs.
Sure are. That line, that Bailey line's pretty
Bailey's looked really good.
Yeah,
except for
Bailey
line.
Yeah.
Bailey, Beauvillier, and
Nelson.
Is
Nelson.
it Peugeot?
Nelson, yeah. Bailey, he screened for Varlamov, by the way, when he was in there and not taken out by his own guy, looked great as well. And then Bailey accidentally screens them on the 3-1 goal, which was very unfortunate. But I don't know. I saw that game. I was like, how are they going to stop Tampa 4 times? I don't know.
I think they might. I think it's pretty fucking tough. The one thing I will say about the Hedman pass to Kucherov is how many defensemen can do that, and how many times you're going to be able to do that on the Islanders. You know what I mean? But one thing I will say is that is an interceptable pass if you can read it.
But it's not so much the pass; it's the terms of Tampa has so much skill up top as well. If you get a puck to Stamkos, he's more than likely going to get out of the zone each time. And if your play is if you're playing to try and stop this offense, I'm going to bet on the offense to break through.
That's fair. Okay. And I think that's a fair point. I'd also like to read the best top line I've ever read in an article ever before we get to the press conference. Okay. Best one ever. Nobody said the Stanley Cup playoffs had to be over before Jack Eichel potentially gets moved. I'm hooked. Thank you, Pierre LeBrun. Love that. Thank you. Now,
hey, Pierre, good tweet.
That's a good tweet.
He
tweet. Actually followed it up with a good article. And he said, while I'm not saying the Star Center will be traded before the end of the playoffs, what I'm hearing is that conversations between the Sabres and other interested teams are getting more serious and intense. So read into that what you will. The next few weeks could be intriguing on that front. And I would imagine Sabres GM Kevin Adams would be counting on a first-round pick to be used the night of July 23rd in this year's draft. So any package, with any package, so the clock is ticking. Eichel, 24, has 5 years and $50 million left on his contract, and there's no questions that other teams at a certain price who believe a change of scenery will reset his career. Here's the teams I believe that make sense. LA, Minnesota. Can you imagine Kaprizov and Eichel? Although they might have to trade Kaprizov. No, I don't think so.
No.
Well, I don't know how you get him otherwise. Now, Zach Parise. Los Angeles, Minnesota, Anaheim, Columbus, Philadelphia, and the Rangers, among others. The Kings want a splashy move for a top 6 forward. The Wild could use another top center. And the Jackets, who have 3 first-round picks this year, of course, really need a number 1 center.
Man, his injury is such
Eichel Laine?
Oh my God. His injury is such a fascinating factor in all this because we know some teams agree with the Sabres that he doesn't need the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably going to want to go to a team who says he does need the surgery, but then when is he going to play? Like, when is he going to be able to play for them? Like, is this the sort of player who goes to a team, like, who can afford, because you're basically looking at a situation not that dissimilar from Tampa, except you're trading for it instead of it just is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to get a guy who won't be able to play for you until like what, after Christmas, depending on, I don't know. I don't know the exact timeline, but it's a long one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who on earth can afford to do this? Like, not afford in terms of money. They can afford to trade for a $10 million player and then sit him.
Rangers.
For half the seat.
LA.
I don't know about that.
I do. Rangers could do that.
LA would be so interesting because they could somehow, like, assuming it all goes well and he's back to being Jack Eichel, they could like replicate 2012 where you're this super ho-hum team. You get this amazing right-handed center and just wreck shit en route to a Stanley Cup. Can you imagine? It's an interesting thought. And why not? Why not make the trade now? Because Tampa's not going to be able to afford it in a million years. The Islanders aren't going to be able to afford it. So unless you're waiting on the Golden Knights or Habs,
you know what you could do if you're a playoff-bound team is you could look at Jack Eichel as LTIR, Kucherov this, but maybe not for the whole season, and then say he is our deadline pickup.
On that similar line of thinking,
you trade for him 10 months before the deadline.
Similar line of thinking. I wonder if the Bruins could sign Tuukka Rask like months into the season. Just be a UFA. Mm-hmm. Just be a UFA the whole time. Mm-hmm. And then when you're ready, come back.
He wants to stay there, doesn't he?
He does. All signs point to it, I think.
Yeah. It would be great if he started and finished his career with the Leafs, but one can do.
I'm sad.
I know. Let's do the press conference real quick here.
All right, Steve. We have the return of your favorite game. Steve guesses a game.
Oh, dear. Okay. All right.
So the rules were I just give you the date of the game, the year,
the date,
and you want the opponent.
I need the date, the opponent, and ideally the game number in the season.
Okay. I will look that up. But the game is December 20th, 2018. Toronto played Florida.
Oh. It wasn't that long ago. December 20th, 2018. So that's Tavares' first season in Toronto.
I know what happened.
I know what might have happened. I don't know if the number of game is going to help me here.
23, 10, and 2. There were 23, 10, and 2, so that's game 35.
Game 35. Oh, Toronto or Florida? Was it in Toronto or Florida?
It is in Scotiabank Arena, Toronto.
Was that the game?
I can't believe it. I'm pretty sure I have the answer.
Was that the game? Okay, so there was a game where the Leafs pumped the Panthers. Reimer had to come in and they cheered for him. And there was another game where they pumped the Panthers and Reimer was the guy who was in net. I think this is centered around Reimer.
It is.
Okay, I'm wrong.
What are you going with?
I'm going to go with, it was the one where Reimer got pumped and Marner scored that absolutely absurd goal on him.
It was the first scenario where Luongo got pumped and
Reimer came
and
in,
Reimer comes in. Actually, a couple other things happened in that game as well, if you can remember.
Okay, can I guess one?
Sure.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Is it William Nylander's first game back after the contract holdout?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. What was that? Remember he had the holdout that year?
He signed that an hour or two, and I remember this because I was at CBC about to host a radio show. He signed an hour or two before a Leafs game against Minnesota that was in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
And I think they lost, but I don't remember his first game back.
He was in this game.
He was.
So.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because the deadline was December 1st.
Right.
Remember? So yeah, he would have been back, and he probably didn't play great.
Do you remember? No goals, no points. 11 minutes on ice. Do you remember the two other? Do you remember the two other things that happened in this game?
Did the Panthers mount a slight comeback in the third?
No, the final score was 6-1.
It was 6-1.
Yep.
Did Marner score in that game?
John Tavares scored a hat trick when it was actually Mitch who scored the sixth goal. Mm-hmm. So everybody thought JT had his hat trick, but it was actually Mitch's goal, and all the hats were thrown on the ice.
And that's when Mitch swore, didn't he?
Oh yeah,
I don't remember that. But,
the false hat trick. That's funny.
There was the false hat trick. Also, Nazem Kadri scored that game. He had a goal disallowed, and then he scored like immediately after. I don't know if you remember that.
Who scored the one for the Panthers? Was it Jace Howerluck?
I'll tell you in half a second.
I know what game I'm thinking of. I'm getting two games confused that I think are the same one.
Henrik Borgstrom.
Oh, so no.
No,
I remember there was a game where the Leafs they beat up on the Panthers. It was in Toronto. I think it was the Marner nasty goal on Reimer game. And Howerluck had like a 2-goal game or something like that. And him and Kadri were chirping back and forth. And it was Howerluck had like 7 goals on the season or something. And Kadri's like, that's a career high for you.
Steve, you are now 2 for 3 on guessing games. I'm not giving you a point for this game. You did not guess enough of what happened.
I didn't get the Islanders one either.
Oh, right. So 2 for 4, I believe it was. Yeah, that's all right. 500 would be a great batting average in the MLB. You'd be the all-time leader. So there you go. Final question. In a Narcity article, also that was sent by D Gavo at Gavin McFarland 7 on Twitter. Thank you for DMing that question. This one is from Mike for DDL. Can Steve speak to the restrooms at the Toronto Zoo being finalists of best restrooms in Canada? Are they that good?
I don't know. I always use the staff bathroom. I don't know. Are they? Okay. The employees are hardworking and everything, but the Toronto Zoo gets like 2 million visitors a year. So like, I just wouldn't assume that just because it's a tourist attraction with thousands of people going through it every day. But yeah, now that I remember it, they were pretty clean. I didn't think they were noteworthy.
Okay.
Well, they are in line for Canada's best bathroom.
Oh, wait, that's what's in the Narcity article?
Yeah, that's what I said. They're up for Canada's best restroom.
And it's not done by Narcity, by the way. It's done by an outside company.
Right. It's just in an article by Narcity.
Who pitched that?
Oh, that's been going on for years.
Yeah.
Spice Route in Toronto used to win it all the time.
They used to have a bathroom no one knew about upstairs by the Via Rail in Union Station.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they got rid of it, and I'll never forgive them.
Do you want me to read the write-up? Well, the article?
Sure.
Yes.
So Cintas Canada Ltd has just announced 5 finalists selected in this year's Canada's Best Bathroom Contest, and the Toronto Zoo made the cut. The zoo's new washrooms, which are featured in its Tundra Trek exhibit, are the most ideal place to do your business in the 6, with stunning blue mosaic walls, trough-style sinks, and hands-free washing units.
Send this. I need to see this.
In a press release, the zoo's bathroom is described as visually stunning. From the cool blue mosaic walls that represent the calm transition of horizon to sky, to the dark and dramatic overhead features that represent the vast night sky across the tundra, no detail is too small. And the pictures are fabulous. Like the urinal dividers are polar bears.
They are. They're pretty cool.
I sent you guys the article if you want to take a look at the pictures.
The zoo is they're really big on detail with that sort of thing.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah. So when like next year, 2022, we're going to do the Steve Zoo tours.
I can't wait.
Podcast listeners. It'll be fun.
I really can't bloody wait.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Adam, what is your favorite bathroom?
My favorite
look
bathroom.
At this.
Yeah.
This is great. That's a great bathroom.
Nice bathroom.
That's very nice.
I mean, the Spice Route ones were very cool because they looked like a small Toronto apartment, but they had so you actually had a big window and it looked onto a garden. You couldn't see anybody, nobody could see in because the fence was super high behind it, but they had put these like river rocks under it. And then they had fire coming up under them outside the bathroom. So you're sitting and you're looking out. So they did this like beautiful garden thing and the bathrooms were unisex. So obviously, you know what happened with people in there. And there was just a very, very, very cool vibe back in the day when that was. So that was the best bathroom I've ever been in. But I did go to a pub and I can't remember what it was, but it's in Liverpool. And it was like where the Beatles hung out. And it's like, God, what is hold on, I get a famous pub, Liverpool. Famous pub, Liverpool. And it's known as the most opulent bathroom in the world because it was built in the built in the Victorian era, and everything is like super like Victorian on steroids. It's not Dr. Duncan's, the Globe, the Crown.
And you went to this one,
the Philharmonic dining rooms. Yeah, so they call it the Phil, and it was actually built for a Robert Kane's brewery in 1900, and it's so Britain around that time, and it's beautiful. And these bathrooms are just all marble. There isn't a single thing in this that isn't marble, and it's gorgeous. So hold on, Philharmonic. You got just Google this, and you'll see the bathrooms.
Google it.
They are considered to be some of the most beautiful in Britain. And I went there and I peed in them, so it was cool. I had dinner.
Steve, do you have any more thoughts on the zoo bathroom after looking at it?
Never been.
Support your local zoo, everybody.
Also, speaking of our England and our British listeners, good luck on Friday to England versus Scotland in the Euros. That's going to be crazy. Pandemonium.
Steve, is it going to be hard for you to cheer for England while SL's in the house?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not doing it. It's weird. I don't know. I never had this affinity for Team England.
Really?
I don't know why. It was always Team Italy.
Well, this is apparently this could be their year. They're saying that England's really, really good this year. So
that was one of the weirdest sports moments for me was when they won the World Cup in 2006, because they won, and that was the Zidane headbutt.
Right, but England didn't win that year, did they?
No, sorry, I was talking about Italy.
Oh, Italy, yes.
Yeah, sorry. So I'm cheering for Italy. All right, come on, beat France, win the World Cup. And then the Materazzi Zidane headbutt happens, and we find out why it happened. And it was, are we the baddies?
Yeah.
And they dove to, was that the same year they dove to beat Australia, or was that a Euro tournament? Or no, it couldn't have been. It's Australia. This isn't Eurovision. It's, I was just, I don't know. I was very disenchanted with Team Italy after that. Really? So now I just sort of watch soccer and don't care who wins. Unless Scotland's playing, then I hope it's them.
I watched Belgium, Russia, and I've never seen just full force domination like Belgium had on Russia in certain parts of that game. It was like, I know this is Belgium's sort of last shot at being great for a little while. I think that their best players are getting older, but boy, did they look good. I like Russia didn't look like they even stood a chance. I know they're sort of rebuilding, but whoa, it was not even close. Really fun to watch.
There's been some good football over the last couple of days. Like just tuning in, you're just like, oh, flipping the channel and you see some good footy on. You know, it's been fun.
It's been fun.
Footy.
So with that, guys, we are we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna be back on Friday. And we'll see what happens with the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. Those don't even exist anymore. The conferences is just, whatever happens, we'll get to it. I'm sure we'll pretend the Islanders Tampa Bay game didn't happen again until Jesse brings it up at the end of the show. And until then, we hope you have a wonderful time. We love you and we'll see you.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.